Hello, Margaret. Welcome to Margaret Bowley from Australia. Yeah, so these energies are quite phenomenal, and I want to tell you that they have been reminding me of the fairy energies. So this, I'll just get started because people will arrive. But when I woke up this morning, for some reason I was in this memory of being in Toulouse and being on this sort of travel adventure with my friend Polly. And then I realized, oh, well, we were actually there today, a week ago. So we landed in Toulouse on the evening of the 12th of July. And then we had 52 hours of travel with really not very much sleep. And we awoke to Bastille Day. And so that was just this great fun in terms of, our being in a country we hadn't been to before, and them having this public holiday and celebration. So just got a hair on my face. Good morning, Jan. Good morning, Sherry. So it was just taking me there because of a number of things, and I'll have to try and stay on topic. But these energies at the moment, they're not fairy energies, but they feel like it. So I've really been, apart from a couple of days ago, I woke up and I was really in a funk. I was experiencing I've had enough of the world. Maybe I was like that for about half an hour, kind of, grumping and mumping around the place. And then a friend from London messaged me and said, oh, can you tune into this for me? And so when I did that, it took me out of that place. But yeah, so a whole mixture of things in with the fairy energies. But let me begin with speaking about when this came through. So on the 18th, so we're on the 19th here today, and on the 18th, which is I figured out was a universal 22 day, and 22 days are master days. They often relate to me with linking cosmic energies into the earth. People who are working on the life path number or the day number of a 22, they have extremely complex and higher brow brains. That's how I see, and minds. They can manage and master many things. And my understanding of people working with the 22 master number is that they are really this direct conduit or bridge of exceptionally new to the earth energy. So yeah, it was a 22 master day, and good almost midnight from West Virginia. Hello, Gazelle or Giselle. Anyway, these energies coming through. So I went, into the center of the earth to connect in with Gaia, and she was dressed in this white gown with her hands up to like this to above, and what was streaming in was this very white crystalline energy. And it was, so I got this cosmic energies pouring in with a wide variety of dimensional codes that will bring much combustion in the body and may have been showing up for you and for me in a multitude of places in the body. So for me, I could feel this huge energy in my occipital bone. So the occipital bone is the soft cavity in the back of your skull, and it's where many believe, and I do, the 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 energies that come in to be seen in the third eye. I think we can see from this way as well, but the energies come in the third eye. Visionary energies and information comes in through the a cavity or an energetic portal in the occipital bone, and so that's where I was feeling this huge energy. So I was observing that, and then for me, I could feel this interesting thing. I could feel pain. I could feel pain. I'm just looking at my notes. Um, in my neck, and I might as well speak to my notes properly, then I won't get lost. And then pain and contractions and energy in my heart, in my sternum, and heat energy in the body, which moved around, which to me was showing transmutation, combustion in the cells. That's how I perceived that energy. Um, and I got shown that there was, for me anyway, I'd be interested to know what experiences you were having on the 18th, uh, or today, like a diamond template, and it reminded me of the batik blocks that they have in Indonesia, where they dip a carved wooden block into wax, and then they put it on the fabric, and then that's the resistance for batik dyeing. Was like that, and I felt it was a diamond shape, and it was being placed on my from the occipital bone down into my spine, so that I was given guidance about that being part of my personal upgrade. But all of us, so yeah, maybe you've got an experience to share, which would be cool to put in the chat. But all of us have been given, when I say all of us, those of us who are aware and awake and are working with our higher level consciousness and very firmly in our fifth dimensional world, we've been given a sixth and seventh dimensional upgrade. Yes. So these codes coming in, I got shown they were the Angelic Codes, diamond, white, crystalline, coming in, and they were coming in as a song from the angels. So those of you who are highly audial may have heard those. Margaret's saying she was having sharp pains in her forehead, and her pendulum confirmed that it was the energies coming in. Yeah, fantastic. Oh, it's really good if you've got some way of checking those things for yourself. So people who've got pendulums and can use those accurately, that's fantastic. Jan, it's J-A. Jan said she slept for 48 hours off and on, and the head felt overloaded, looked like my gem got activated. Yeah, so it's what is interesting is the purpose of it. So what I got told was that the purpose of it is that light workers, so let's call all of us light workers, it's a general term that applies to starseeds and light warriors and old souls and people who have come in to really assist this ascension process, that upgrade was coming so that we can almost like haul the collective through our energetics into their fifth dimensional space. And so we've got that upgrade in order to have that impact. And you can imagine, can't you? Because you will have all had experiences where you are aware that you're being present with somebody either enables them to access something that they wouldn't normally be able to access, or it triggers them. And I've certainly had some quite funny and pretty challenging experiences with that. So there was a time when I kind of came into a greater level of consciousness, of maybe, I don't even know when, but maybe 5 years ago. And I had a couple of times where people just collapsed into tears in my presence. I found that a bit challenging. Um, and so you've probably all had things like that. And like, I had a session with somebody this morning, and I was commenting to her about how the two of us together, we created this incredible expanded space. And it reminded me of the saying from the Bible about where two or more people gather, there's this exponential power. And so this is coming in for us to be able to work in our groups and make change in that way, as we are really coming into this higher level, this more conscious purification. We're accessing and integrating our multidimensional codes and experiences, and they are being housed in here as we're in this whole process of pulling in and rising up. So it feels so close to me, and Gaia is still speaking about that we are so close. So this is like a divine, I want to say, I don't know if this was exactly planned to happen at this time, but this is like I think I can safely call it divine intervention. It's like a plug in, an extra aspect to make change. So back to that diamond shape on my neck. Anyway, I was feeling a heat impression, like a stamp. I could feel this heat in this diamond shape, as though someone was pressing it. It was connecting to my lower skull and the occipital bone, and right down to about the 5th vertebrae down. And so I was told it was an upgrade template of higher consciousness and the adamantine codes. And I got told, so I always believe that even if I get something that is specific to me, it's not that I will be the only one who gets it. It's that everyone will get it, but it'll be specific to them. That's my belief, that this is how it works. So when I asked, this is what I was told. It is like a customized upgrade, specific to you, designed by you and your soul, your higher self, to arrive at this time in your ascension movement. Higher diamond crystalline grid is now mostly formed. So the next thing that I was shown was this it's really hard to explain, the globe, and then this crystalline structure that relates to the earth that looks like sugar crystal. I once did this with some of my senior students. It was a real work of art, and we made this toffee. We made a sphere made out of toffee. So we had this bowl or a ball. I can't remember whether we did 2 semi-spheres and then put it together, but we ran sort of liquid toffee over it and created a net. It looked like that, but made from, but it's white and it's crystalline, but it has that look to it. And it's as though it's not quite formed yet. It was as though the top part of it isn't yet formed, but was showing up as this net. It's likely to be octagonal, its construction, even though I am still seeing in the morning light, I'm still seeing hexagonal overlays. I know that other people have seen them, because when I've commented, people have seen that. But what I see is, if you imagine the blue sky, I see a net, as in like netting, made up of very fine lines of hexagons. And when the sky is more grey, it shows up in blue. And I've been seeing that for a number of years. I've believed it's the sort of 6-dimensional template overlay. And where this is all, to me, this is all links into structure, into harmony. What else is there here? So this crystalline sugar structure that I've just mentioned, it's to do with this. It's higher dimensional crystalline grid, now mostly formed. It holds the planet in greater stability and in a higher dimensional frequency of 6th to 7th dimensions. And the message here is many of you may be feeling guided to be more still and to be more contemplative in nature, to do less. And I wrote this. I haven't had this. I guess I've had an urge for it, but I haven't actually got to it, to engage in creative endeavors. As baseline foundational codes and the energetic signatures come into their placement in and on our earth. So these are these higher codes that sit as this underpinning of all the various stratas and streams and components of our consciousness and of our planet and the species, the sentient species. Oh yeah, and I was still feeling, and I am now, like I can hear things, but I would say that my auditory capacity is probably my weakest link. And so I've been feeling, yeah, that same energy that I felt the other day, a sort of a bit of as though my ears are being got some high piercing noise in them. And then, let me see. No, I've got this on and it's noisy. I was thinking it would be quite a good hypnosis thing. We should really be hypnotizing everybody to grow vegetables, because that's what we need. We need to have people having their gardens going. Gazelle says, I've been feeling throat chakra constriction. Yeah, well, that would fit, Gazelle, because this is almost like the last bastion of chakra upgrading is the throat, because we've had there's been this ongoing suppression, hasn't there, of not speaking, and the feminine have had that, and of course all of us have been feminine and masculine throughout time, but the feminine have had so much suppression about speaking that it doesn't surprise me that you're feeling that. So just invite your, well, everybody could do this, just invite your throat chakra to be in connection with your heart, and then pull in a light that looks the color of the ocean, and invite that to bring its soothing, healing energies to wash around in your throat. Hello, Larissa. Thank you. And breathe. So breathe in through the mouth. So you're breathing a cool energy over it. And allow that to move around and soothing and washing. And breathing over it. And maybe we should thank the throat. Thank the throat for its beautiful bridging work that it does in our world, and invite it to feel free and supported in speaking its truth. And this is what we are all experiencing this month on a personal level and on a global level, this speaking truth, this being able to express the feelings in our heart instead of running them through our programming, to be able to just speak them. Ya takanashi shia koyarakanashi tiya hoanashi etiana iya iya koya iya nara. That might help. Lauren says she's experiencing that today. Where are you, Lauren? What does my necklace do? My necklace is just a piece of costume jewelry, but everyone who looks at it, they always want to play with it. It's got little pieces of plastic that look like crystal. It'd be nice if they were crystal. So it's just a glass box with those in it. Oh, that's good. You're welcome. All right, so next. Apparently, the planet is now ready for some animal species that were here in fifth dimensional existence, higher dimensional animals that used to be here in ancient times. And I have a really interesting story to tell about that, because I did this past life reading with this friend of mine who is, she's the most incredible dog communicator. And I'm sure she won't mind me saying that. I got shown that in the future she would be representing animals in court over custody battles, because she can speak to them all. But I saw this time, this past life for her, or concurrent life for her, in Atlantis, and I said to her, well, you were responsible for something, and I can't remember what it was. I said you were very solo and very silent. You barely spoke, and your connection was with the animals. And you had these two dogs that walked beside you, and they were so tall that their withers were up to your waist, and they look like a cross between a deer and a greyhound. Anyway, I've been to Egypt, and so I was describing that to her, and then maybe a month later I went to hang up this papyrus that I'd had framed, and in the hieroglyphics was this animal that looked exactly like that. This, and when you look it up online, they're called the ibis dog, or the Atlantean dog, or the Egyptian dog. So they're tall and lean, and they have a lot of extra sensitivities of telepathy. So I was being shown these deer species that are a little bit similar but different to that, and told that their antlers act as high sensitivity antennas, and I feel they link to that species that I was just speaking about. So it's pretty exciting to see these connections. So these energies, these energies that are coming in, they are like the fairy energies. And I went with why was I starting to tell you about Toulouse? Oh, just that my dream time, my waking up time this morning took me there, and then that took me to Glastonbury and to some crop circles. So I've done some pretty interesting journeys, really, and I probably should do a whole lot of little videos about some of the weird, wacky things that have happened. But there was somebody who posted something on Facebook yesterday about crop circles, and someone else said, yes, they're made by farmers with machinery, and I made a comment on it. So I just want to tell you that the crop circles, they hold the energy like this. They hold these higher frequency energies, and when when I sat in them, and I was there with a group, and we were all the same to varying degrees, so we sat in them, and you can see they're not cut. It's extraordinary how they are made. The grass is folded over, and they are as though someone's been there pressing them over, pressing them over, pressing them over. They're in the most incredibly accurate symmetrical shapes. But anyway, let's say, 100 people went there and did that in the night. The thing that they hold that can't come from mechanical creation is this frequency, this energy. And when you sit in it, it makes you go all into this lots of giggly, childlike fairy energy. And one of the women who was there, her and I started speaking light language, and it was hilarious because it wasn't what we normally speak. And we were speaking it sounded like the fairies, and it was in sync. We were actually speaking exactly the same words and sounds. But these crop circles, they hold this frequency, so they definitely are created in some other way. I'm not sure how, but they're not created by mechanical tools and farmers overnight. They're way too complex, way too accurate, and nothing is cut. And those energies are that. So these are the energies that are coming in now, even though they are the angelic codes. They have that, the high, the light, they're full of joy, full of fun. You have those kind of childlike bliss things going on. And so just really, if you've got those feelings, just wrap yourself in them and invite them to come in and be around you. Okay. I think that's what I was going to speak about with that. So we are now leveling up into 6th dimensional frequency. All of us light workers and star seeds, or whatever name you might like to give yourself, is fine. And this is to be tugging and stretching on the energy band of the collective to pull more people into 5th dimensional frequency experiences. We are in the midst of great work of integration, embodiment, being held by these groups. So people like us during this expansive energy induction for the planet and humanity and other sentience. So there is this idea that by doing nothing, you are working, because this stillness, this holding space, is connecting to your own divine hearts, this feeling the energy, feeling the frequency, getting into joy. You can see that as your work. There's a lot of, for me, for example, I've noticed that there must be super big things coming this week because I've got so few clients, and I thought, I must need this space, this rest, this room to do other things this week. So maybe you are having that experience as well. So it's all about our holding space for all sentient beings. So the octahedron beginning to hold space for the 6th and 7th dimensional aspects to be grounded in. What else might there be useful to you? Being really hydrated. I haven't been particularly flash about that. Be very guided, be very present, be very in the moment, be asking, well, what now? And learn to be okay with not doing. So we're in massive integration, and we're also needing to hold this frequency and hold the vision of what is to come. So we are maybe using adjectives like coming into a world where we are in peace, and where each of us is able to operate and communicate from our hearts, where we are able to have very good, regular and simple practice for staying in alignment, where each of us sees that as our fundamental work. And it is at the moment, that is our fundamental work, to stay in our highest alignment, because collectively we hold a higher frequency, which holds this net that allows the rest to come in. It's a bit like I was I was talking to a friend about waves, and I used to be a surfer, and so when you are in and on the ocean, you learn to be very observant about the waves because it makes a difference to your life as a surfer. So you watch for the sets, and mostly sets come in rolls of seven. So there are seven waves that come in a set, and all of the sets, sets on the same day and tide, they often have a regularity. So one wave in the set might just fizzle out early, and one wave might be the big wave that rolls up and crashes over, and one wave might be the perfect ride, and one wave might be a long ride. And so you learn to pick which wave in the set, and you learn to paddle out in between the sets. And the energies at the moment, how I was being shown it, is that one wave is coming in. So this is Ascension. So we are that wave. We are that wave coming into the surf beach, but behind is coming this other wave that is much bigger, and it's much more powerful, and it has greater momentum, and it's catching up to us, and it's one wave is rolling into the other, and that's the Ascension wave that tips us in. So that's just another analogy that I was given yesterday, and it will come in as a wave or a flash depending on our perception, and it's we're on the precipice of it, the edges of it. Any questions, anybody? I think that's about it from me today. Oh, except I could tell you this analogy that I got for the divine masculine. Or for a specific divine masculine, for a specific divine masculine, and not mine, but a specific divine masculine, and I feel it applies to some, so to maybe a group, and it was that he was at the Olympic Games, and he was he was kneeled on the track. He was a pole vaulter. And so he was in his mental bubble. So he was talking to himself, running through the moves, running through the nuances of his body movement and where he was going to hit the pole on the turf and or on the mix, and running all of that through and perfecting it and getting his nerves out of the way and coming really deeply into his own stillness. So all of that in his mental mind, he was doing that. And in preparation for then standing up and doing his physical motion. So that was what I saw yesterday, the divine masculine deep in contemplation, very deeply in their inner being. Focused on the steps that they are to take in a physical way. Now, I'll just check that it's not my cursor that needs to be attended to here with. How do showing what the Ascension will be feel like? Okay, so how I feel it will be is that it will come in a way that you probably have already felt in this last few months. So it might be personal to you, but we have been what Gaia calls we are being and have been tempered in the body. So these waves of energy that have been coming through the solar flares, the solar filaments that have been coming off the sun, and they are coming into our bodies or into the crystalline structure of the earth and then up and into our body. So they can come in, I believe, in two ways, but need to be grounded and then up. So we can pull it in through our crown chakra, down into the ground, into our earth chakra, crystalline earth star chakra, and then back up, because I'm showing they come up through the tailbone. or they could come into the crystalline grid of the earth and then into our own personal crystalline earth star chakra. So that's the kind of the traveling route of these energies, but they are catalyzing cellular change, crystallization in our body. So we're going through that process in order that we have dissolution of density, this breaking down of the patterns and programs that hold us in lower dimensional frequency and ways of being, ways of thinking, the conditioning that's been breaking down. So we've been going through this cycle, this process of that. Those coming in, our releasing density, wounding coming up for us to heal, all of that. And then that creates space for this light to come in. So that is tempering our bodies. We're getting used to it. It's like Ascension fitness, that's what Gaia calls it. And then when this comes through, it will be a bigger version of that. So for me, what happens when I get a download of energy like that, it's like I have done with babies when they don't settle, when they're all anxious. This is what happens to me. It's as though this happens, even though it doesn't. But this is the effect, and you could try it. So it's as though someone takes their hand and does that down my face and closes my eyes as they go past. And I just go, off to sleep. So it can it can happen and then a second later I'm awake. But that's my experience of it. And I think, because I work with Gaia and the energies, I'm not sure how much of an extra effect that will have, but I'm feeling, well, I might be put to sleep. So our bodies are great integrators when they're asleep because we are out of resistance. So yeah, share in the chat what experiences that you are having. So during these downloads, during these big waves that are coming through, some people will experience, and I do as well, I experience contraction in the head during my awakening. I had the most terrible pain. I felt that I was in a torture chamber, that someone had placed this metal band inside my skull with a winder on it and was screwing it open. And, because I was really so strongly in my mental mind, and it was like being in a torture chamber, and I was basically in bed for 3 weeks and doing that. So everyone will have different experiences, but that was, that was part of my sort of grander awakening, because I think in some ways I arrived a little bit awake. What do other people experience? Yeah, because Larissa is just saying that she has uncharacteristic frontal headache. That is likely, Larissa, to be this opening of your third eye. So with my clients over the last couple of weeks, I've noticed a lot of that. A lot of people, their third eyes are having an upgrade. So that's what was happening with my rare aspect of my third eye yesterday. So yeah, can feel it here, can feel it in the sort of base of the skull, the top of the neck. Our third eyes are going to have greater, well, I'm showing that our physical eyes will do things that our third eyes do. So everyone has their different sort of faculties and different levels of their psychic gifts, and we will all have all of them, but they'll come in different orders. So the strength of mine is my visual. I see the image before I hear the message, and everyone will be having their third eyes opened, and then I believe there'll be this integration with the physical eyes, and our physical eyes will be able to see more with our eyes open. Insomnia and ache in the spine, massive. Oh, let's see. Let me go back to the in dreams. Yeah, if you are doing your integration and your release in dreams, that's fantastic, because that's likely to be gentler. Jaw pain. So the jaw, the gums, the teeth, and even sometimes the cheekbones, they hold resentment, anger, rage, and sometimes I can feel it kind of moving into some anxiety. But this in here, this all through here, that release is to do with those emotions. And so what I would say to you is to maybe ask them to present themselves, maybe start asking, having dialogue with yourself, is this from this lifetime or another existence? And just speak. I'm I'm a great believer in speaking to the body, and so you could have some dialogue with that. So you could thank it. I always think we don't thank our body enough for the work that it does. So you could have dialogue with it like, hey jaw, hey teeth, hey gums, I really want to thank you for holding this for me and throughout all of this time, for holding whatever the energies are that you've held on to on my behalf, to let me know that I have got some resentment to clear, some anger to shift, some rage to move. And I invite you and I thank you. I give you permission to release it now and to let me know if there's anything else I need to do around it. So you could try that beach weave. Jaw pain related to solar flares. Oh, okay, sorry. Jaw pain related to solar flares. Well, that's a fit, because they are creating or coming in a way, they in a simple way, you know, thinking about that other process, but just bypassing that other process of how they come into the points of density and resistance, and it's and they meet it and they catalyze it and it shows up for us. So that's why we can all of a sudden we can have this, you know, or we can have feelings, emotions that come up that we can't kind of match to any current experience, and it's because it's being catalyzed out of our physical bodies. What else is here? Pulsing and root chakra randomly. Yeah, now what did I got something about that linking in somewhere else. So the root chakra, or I want to say for you, so let me know, that it may relate to a little bit of fear, but more gentler than fear, of not feeling grounded, because it's really hard to ground at the moment. We're in this big shift. So I feel there's this part of you that is feeling some kind of anxiety, in that you can't connect and you can't get grounded, you don't feel stable, that kind of thing. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Headache, severe headache, pulsating, can't keep my eyes open. What is it? I'm still in no. Okay, let me tune into that. Hold on a moment, everybody. Okay. Larissa, I'm writing your name down so that I can remember it. So what I have been shown that we've been going through over more than this year, but this year it's been upgrading, up-leveling our chakras to a higher way of being. So it's how I see it is, we've done, a lot of us have done our cleaning out, our clearing out at 3-dimensional level, and then as we're moving through 4th, we get some more and we think, haven't we done that? But we can't access things from the level at which it was created as well. So it may be that what people are experiencing is cellular trauma from times when you've been in 5th dimensional existence. So I want to encourage you not to give yourself a hard time about it. It's this, we do that in terms of our gifts, and we do that in terms of our healing. So let's tune into that for you, Larissa. Headache pulsating. Yeah, I think that's to do with third eye upgrade. Is it in your temples that you're really feeling it? Okay, let me see if I can bring something through for that. Yatakana e to anana e ya o a ya yo ya yarana he yarana he ya o anara. Links into here as well, Larissa. Hey, maybe that you have seen something that was painful in your heart, in your dreams. Past life, though. Yeah, it's to do with, actually it's to do with an arrow in the heart and a lion. The lion is your ally, in that the lion is in alignment with you, or in empathy with you. The lion is there with you, looking over you. I don't know if that has any meaning, but that's what I get shown. An arrow in here, something you saw in that time. You were very sensitive. I see you as African. I think it was that you were a great, what do you call it? Honestly, I'm pretty articulate, and I'm struggling with words at the moment. And every time that happens, I know that's a brain upgrade. A stalwart, pioneer, warrior for the sovereignty and the rights of the lions, and that you got in the way. And so the arrow was meant for that lion. That lion knew that. That's why it was with you. So see how that fits for you. Let me know, Larissa, if that's made any difference to you. Mental, emotional purging, and then space. Yeah. So we're on the ends of it, everyone. And it doesn't make it easier when you're in the midst of it, but we are on the edges of it, so that's good. Okay, good. All right, so I feel like we should have some sort of Star Trek-y kind of nanu exit point at this time. See you on the other side. That's what I say to some of my friends at the moment when I say goodbye to them. See you on the other side, because we could really be there any moment. Frontal and right eye. So Larissa, is that where it's moved to, or is that where the pain was? Because that's a match with where I felt the pain, but has it gone? Sometimes they take a little bit of extra movement time. Okay. So we are in amazing times, and go gently with self and be in ease and peace and out of resistance. Allow the body to be your guide. What does it need? What does it want to tell you? Get rest, drink lots of water, enjoy nature. And I'll be back when I've got more information. Lots and lots of love and yeah, sending that to you. Thank you. Thank you, The Walk with Mystery. It's my pleasure. All right, bye everyone. Take very good care. We are kind of in, I guess, I haven't been shown that it's changed. We are in these kind of groups of 3 days of energy coming in, and then we have a slight amendment, alteration, but yeah, it's all good. Okay. You're welcome. Thank you, everyone. Bye.